I want to show you one of my, well, I wouldn't say it's my favorite tool, but this thing is handy and figured it is a good topic for a video, a tool review. This is a Milwaukee 2680-20 grinder. I bought it as a bare tool. I'm imagining if a person bought it as a kit or a set, it may come with a different model number. It uses a 18-volt lithium-ion battery, no cord, okay? It's a little bulky, but the beautiful thing is you just pick it up and go. If you've got a quick grinding job, deburring, detailing job, it really saves time. At home, I use it as a second grinder. I usually have at least 2 grinders available to me because it never fails. If you're grinding or sanding something, you always need another tool. This particular grinder has a cutting wheel on it. I've got some of my other grinders here, and I'll talk to you about those as well. This has a well-used sanding pad on it. This is a flap wheel. Similar process to the sanding disc, but with some differences. Here's another grinder with a cutting wheel on it, and it never fails. You spend a lot of time changing tools back and forth. So I like to keep this around as a second grinder or for those quick jobs. If I cut something with the cutting wheel, the next step is going to be to pick up another grinder and deburr the edge. So this DeWalt and this grinder live at home. These 2 Milwaukees live at work. One of them was actually purchased for home, and well, I didn't have a second grinder for work, and I like to have a second grinder, so this is the first time it's been home. So let me show you some stuff on these, and we'll talk about the differences. I only have one cordless grinder, so I can't do a head-to-head with, say, the DeWalt or I don't know, I know DeWalt makes one, and I'm sure there's others. But I'll show you what this thing will do, and we'll talk about grinders in general. So, one of the things you'll notice about all my grinders is the guards are missing. Normally, well, nowadays everything gets shipped with a guard, and the guards will only expose about a quarter of the disc. Now, that's great if you're always working in a position where that guard's not in your way. It's great if you don't need to see a line. If you've got a line and you're trying to cut it, the guard's nothing but in the way. It's a guard. It's a safety item. These cutting wheels especially are really dangerous. I've tried to cut my fingers off with them before, and it makes a mess. It doesn't cut. It chews through your skin. That doesn't change the fact that when I take a grinder out of the box, I throw away the guard. I throw away the wrench that is used to loosen and tighten the nut here. All of these grinders have a lock on the spindle, so you got to find the spot, and this one has, I don't know, maybe 8 different spots where you can lock it. You hold the button down. I just grab the wheel, take it loose, put it back on, tighten it. Obviously, you don't want to pull the trigger when you're doing that. Don't do as I do. Do as I say. Use your guards. Use your gloves. Wear your safety glasses. But at the same time, I throw them away. So, all right, we got cordless grinder. Okay, full battery. Nice little battery indicator. I like that. If I pick it up, I can see if I should go to work or if I should go find my other battery and put it on there. Like I said, I bought this as a bare tool. It's kind of a companion to my drill. Uses the same battery. I also have bought a cordless vacuum cleaner that's handy. A little shop vac. It's about the size of a small toolbox or a lunchbox, and it's great for quick little cleanup jobs. You don't want to drag a cord out, or a big, 10-gallon shop vac. So it runs fairly quiet. I don't know if you can hear that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's done it from day one. It has something to do with the internals on there. I'm not going to take this thing apart, show you how it's built inside, but I will say I've used it a little bit. It's not a heavy-duty grinder. It's for once in a while, quickie jobs, jobs where you want to be portable, you don't want to drag a cord out. So we can try and keep this relatively short. It's a 4.5-inch grinder. It's a little longer than this DeWalt. It's about the same size as its brother here, with a cord on it. The one thing I like about this, among lots of things I like the paddle switch. The paddle switches, it's a dead man. As soon as you let go, it turns off. If this thing gets away from you, you gotta let go. But if you've ever had a situation on a motorcycle where you get scared, you tend to, as we say, grab a whole handful of hang-on, and if you're trying to hang on tight, it's going to stay on. So this particular switch has a little lever here. You have to pull that and then engage the trigger. You can't do one without the other. So I like that. It's a little ways from the cutting wheel, a little less than 1.5 inches away. Now, I said these are 4.5-inch grinders. This cutting wheel started out as probably a 6-inch, and I do that on purpose. One, I get more life out of my cutting wheels. This is a different brand of cutting wheel, but it was probably the same size at one time. I get more life out of them. I'm able to get a deeper cut. If you're going to cut something, you're limited by the size of the head, and right there, if that's the only angle I can get to, I'm barely getting through that. That's almost 7/8. It's about 13/16. It's a piece of a U-bolt. It's got rolled threads that are 7/8, so it's a little smaller here. But so I'm pretty close to my max right there, and that wheel right now is 4 3/4. So if I was putting 4.5-inch wheels on here, it would be even smaller, and this thing, as far as I'm concerned, is almost wore out. Now, back to the switch. You want to have some clearance here. Sometimes things get away from you, especially with cutting wheels. I like that switch. This particular grinder has a different type of switch on it, safety on the switch, and I don't like the fact that my finger ends up so close to the wheel. It's just, I don't like it. I wish it was back here more. This is also a Milwaukee. It's got a switch similar to the cordless grinder. I like this grinder a lot. This one has more horsepower. Let's see. This is a 13-amp grinder. This is a real, it's a workhorse. This other guy looks like a 10-amp. The DeWalt looks like 9 amps. So the DeWalt, this one has a slide switch. That's cool. If that's what you like, there's no paddle to get in the way. You can keep your fingers out of the way. But when this thing gets away, not if, but when this thing gets away from you, it's going to stay on. It's going to come out of your hand. Maybe it misses your face. It's going to hit the floor, and it's going to stay running. personal preference, I like the paddle switch. If that's what you like, great. Another thing here, I could leave that on accidentally, plug it in, and it's going to take off. So that's a little bit of a problem as well. This grinder was bought as a 2-pack. I want to say it was about $80 or $90 for 2 of them, and I needed some grinders. I was down to 1. Might have been even out of grinders, and I picked these up at the Home Depot as 2 at a time. Its brother has it died. The motor went bad. I saved it for hard parts if this one needs something that goes wrong in the gear head or something. If I need a switch, I'll steal parts off of it. So hasn't been the most reliable grinder, but they were pretty cheap. I don't use the Harbor Freight grinders. I have used them in industrial applications before, and the quality is hit and miss. You don't always get a good grinder. They're not always the same. I've had them, we would buy them literally 10 at a time, burn them up, throw them away. One batch would last longer. Well, these work pretty good. Next time around, they suck. So I just don't even mess with them. They seldom run well. You get a good one once in a while. So I'm going to show you, we're going to just a quick cut. I'm not going to do a battery test. You have to take my word for it. The battery lasts reasonably well. It's cordless. You got to charge it up once in a while. But we're gonna cut this piece of bar just so you can kind of get an idea for its power, and maybe I'll fire up the big boy and we'll see what the difference is. It does do that. If you're using it hard, it has some sort of overload protection. It'll stop. You got to give it a second, reset it, and it'll go back to work. That was not impressive. However, very seldom would I use this grinder for a job like that. I might use it to cut I wouldn't cut my screwdriver, but if I was going to cut a piece of round stock about that big, works fine for that. Once again, a quick sanding job, touch-up job, works good. Okay, now just for comparison, we're going to get the big boy out here, and we'll do the same cut, and I think we're going to find it goes a whole bunch faster. Yeah, okay, so this thing is not going to replace a grinder like this. The average person, this is all the grinder they would ever need as far as power. I do own a 7-inch grinder, and it doesn't get used very often. It gets used for really big, heavy jobs. If you're not working on, 12-inch and bigger wide flange beams, I-beams, you really don't have a need for that big of a grinder. You need to maybe learn to make better cuts or something. The big grinders are heavy. There's a lot of fatigue involved, but if you got a lot of grinding to do, like I said, a big piece of steel, thick and a long cut, you want a bigger grinder. But I work on 10-inch channels a lot, butt splicing them together. This is great for that. It's still got enough power. I don't have to run it for a long period of time. It's just it's easy to maneuver and get into places and whatnot. So I really like this for what I would consider normal size steel. Got 2 for home, 2 for work. So take that for what it's worth. Hope you enjoyed the video. You know, it gives you an idea of the differences and what this thing will do. I mean, that was, like I said, that's 13/16. It cut it. I wouldn't want to have to do it all day. We made 1 cut, and I'm down to 3 bars on the battery. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about something like this. It's got its limitations, but it is handy. I do like it, and it wasn't cheap either. I bet you I could replace all 3 of these for the price of this guy. So, all right, you guys, be safe. Wear your safety glasses. Keep these cutting wheels. Make sure it's not going to come back and hit you in the face. Seldom do I get to use a grinder in a position like this. It's usually precarious. So be safe. Wear your safety glasses. Thank you.